Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you are new here. You can probably hear from my beautiful block nose that I have court cases cold. In fact, we all have court cases cold, so that is just fantastic, isn't it? 2 weeks have been hell, I'm not gonna lie, but hopefully we have sort of passed through the storm now and we're making our way out. Casey is finally feeling a lot better. I feel a little bit better, although still feeling a little bit hot and cold, and just my face is just so congested. It is so sexy and I sound it as well. So today is a really exciting video. If you follow me on Instagram, you will know that me and my boyfriend Adam got engaged just over a month now, and yeah, we are fully into the swing of wedding planning. Because there are so many weddings that have been postponed, we really wanted to make sure that we could get a date in the diary as soon as possible, because we really want to get married, and yeah, we didn't want to wait any longer. So we've decided on the year 2023. That seemed like the most reasonable and long enough time to wait, to save enough money for the venue that we really wanted, and just to make sure that we were able to actually afford everything that we really wanted for our day. I thought I would start with a couple of wedding videos and sort of explain to you where I started in terms of wedding planning, and then also venues, because I come bearing fantastic news. We have found a venue, and in actual fact I feel like I sort of can't really speak about it too much because it was the first venue that we saw. I've been following this place on Instagram for maybe the last 2 years, and it's just beautiful, and I just knew that I wanted to get married there. And as soon as we drove up towards the house, so it's a house, I just knew that it was the venue that we were going to get married in, and luckily they had the date that we wanted, so that is fantastic. But before I carry on with the venue stuff, I will start with where I started. Now, I didn't really know where to begin. I sort of just guessed. I sort of used my common sense, if that makes any sense. So first port of call for us, I thought, would probably be the guest list. I wanted to make sure that I had a vague idea of how many people that we would have for the day and for the evening, and to make sure that that sort of coincided with the venue that we wanted. Luckily, the amount of people fit the venue perfectly, which is great for both the day and the evening. That is perfect because we don't actually want a huge wedding, and the venue itself lends itself to that. So we wanted it to feel really intimate but beautiful, and that is exactly what we're going to get. I think that's a really great place to start, because it means that you have a rough idea of how many people you're going to have at your wedding, be it for the day and then for the evening, and from that you can sort of have a look at the venues that you would like for your day in regards to the amount of people that you'll have. So I think that's a really good place to start. But the next place is your budget. So what we did when we decided how many people that we wanted at a wedding, we decided the budget that we wanted, and this would have included basically everything. So venue, catering, photographer, dresses, outfit, what else, floristry, that sort of thing, music, entertainment, what have you. So then you could use that to figure out what sort of venue that you would like. Your rough guide to your guest list and your budget, then you can have a look at venues. And I would say it's a good idea to base everything in one place, be that in an app or a spreadsheet. And I am actually using both because I'm wild, but the other app that I'm using at the moment is Bridebook, and the person that you need to go watch is Home with Shan. So Shan actually got engaged maybe a week after I did, and she has broken down exactly what Bridebook does in regards to helping you plan your wedding, and it is really good. Now, the venue that we have chosen isn't on Bridebook, but they have a myriad of venues that you can choose from, depending on your budget and your guest list amount. So it is just perfect, and also what sort of venue that you're looking for. Not to mention guest lists, so you can even add all your guests, guests, your evening guests, whether they might be coming, whether they definitely are coming, whether they're male or female, their children, or whether it's a baby, that sort of thing. And it's really, really good. But Shan goes into a lot more detail than I will in regards to bride book, and her video is definitely worth a watch if you're looking for something to basically help you plan and organize your wedding. In terms of venues, we decided that we wanted to make sure that we stayed pretty close to where we live, because it meant that our family and our friends didn't have to travel too far away to be with us on our day. So for you, it might be quite far away depending on where you live, on whether you choose a certain style of venue, or it might actually be just a special place for you and your partner. And that is definitely, that would be so lovely if you have a special place like, I don't know, the Lake District or Cornwall, that sort of thing, you know, that would be so, so lovely. Next, I would have a look at how many guests you're allowed in the day and in the evening. So what would tend to happen is, in the brochure of the venue that you're looking at, you can actually request these brochures through Bridebook, and they're just sent to you, whether that's via your email or through the post, and that should include this information. So the maximum amount of people that you're allowed during the day, and the maximum amount of people that you're allowed in the evening as well. Next, the type of venue that you're going to go for. What vibe is it that you're going for? Is it a hotel? Is it a manor? Is it a barn? So barn venues are beautiful. They are so, so stunning, and it's actually the type of style that I really wanted to go for. And the one place that I absolutely loved was Elmley. So you might have seen them on Instagram or on television actually, because they have been on TV quite recently, and it is Elmley Nature Reserve. Adam and I actually went there a couple of years ago for his birthday, and we stayed in one of their shepherd's huts, or one of the caravans that they had. And oh my god, it's absolutely beautiful. It's stunning. It's such a gorgeous venue. They have actually expanded now, I think. So they have a house, a huge house that you can rent out, shepherd's huts, yurts, and then the caravans that you can rent out for your wedding day. A garden area with a little outhouse that you can get married under, and it is absolutely beautiful. So in the barn itself, they've already got fairy lights and everything in, and you can have trestle tables going up and down the barn, and it's just such a stunning venue. And if it wasn't so far away from us, we definitely would have gone for them, but unfortunately they were also out of our budget. But yeah, the type of style that we would have gone for if it wasn't a house would have definitely been a barn, and that one was a lot more rustic, really boho-y. And I think if we didn't go for what we went for, that's the type of thing that we would have gone for. But just the style of the whole venue itself was just beautiful, and I would definitely recommend it if you're looking for a venue. It's just stunning. I'll leave the information down below as well, because it's just so beautiful, and it's definitely worth considering if you're still looking for a venue. So I actually had a load of questions for the venue when we went to their open day. So they had an open day a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 Sundays ago, and I had a myriad of questions. I think I've said myriad quite a lot in this video, but whatever. So yeah, I had loads of questions, and I actually asked you guys on Instagram what sort of thing I need to ask, because I had no idea where to start, and the whole thing felt a little bit overwhelming. Now I would say for our open day, it meant that they were so busy that they weren't actually able to answer all of our questions. So I emailed them over, but it was definitely worth making a list anyway, and I wanted to share them with you today, so that if you were feeling like I was, you would be able to ask all of these questions, clear up any confusion that you would have with your wedding day if you were going to get married in the venue that you viewed. So I'm going to fire off all of these questions. If you find that helpful, I will pop them down in the description box below, so you can copy and paste them and then ask your venue these questions when you go to view it. So the first one is, what is your availability? So you're going to have to ask them if they have the venue available on your preferred date. That might be an anniversary, or you know, a special date to you both. If it's not, then you might have to compromise depending on whether you love the venue enough to change the date that you wanted to get married on. So Adam and I actually wanted to get married on a specific date, and it was actually a bank holiday in half term, because at that point I will be a teacher, so I'm not going to be able to get married any old day of the week. So we thought that that was the perfect date because it meant we had the weekend to prepare. It was Monday, and then if people wanted to take the day off afterwards they could do, but we also had that week to just be with each other because I would have been on holiday. Fortunately, they didn't have any dates available in that week, so we had to compromise and go for a day in August because that would have been my summer holidays. Price was actually a lot lower than it would have been on the bank holiday Monday. So yeah, it worked out perfectly for us. And so then you also need to ask about the deposit. What is the deposit that you need to put down for the venue, and what is the payment arrangements for your venue? Also, when would final payment need to be made? Would it be a month before, or would it be 3 months before? Every venue is different, so it's definitely worth asking. What is their cancellation policy? You need to get wedding insurance. So this is something that a lovely lady on Instagram mentioned to me. I had absolutely no idea that it was a thing, and apparently it is definitely worth getting. Obviously, because of COVID, everything has been thrown up in the air in regards to weddings, so I think it is a lot more expensive, and COVID isn't actually covered in wedding insurance anymore. So that is definitely something worth considering when you're looking at wedding insurance. So any music restrictions, and have you got a late license? We allowed confetti. So a lot of venues aren't keen on confetti, and a few people actually mentioned this to me on Instagram. So it's worth considering biodegradable confetti or dried flowers. Do we have to pay corkage? Now our venue is brilliant, and they have an arrangement with the suppliers so that anybody who gets married at the venue doesn't have to pay corkage, which is perfect. But other venues might not be the same, and it's definitely worth asking that because that could really sway your venue. Security cameras. Do they have security cameras? And the only reason I'm including that one is because a friend of mine mentioned on Instagram that she went to a wedding and someone came in and pretended that they were part of the wedding party and then just stole all the gifts off the table, which is disgusting. And it turned out that people knew about it and they purposely not had any security cameras, so it's probably worth asking. So if it's a pretty established venue like a huge barn or a hotel, it's definitely worth asking if they have any security cameras for that reason. Floristry included, or do we need to get that supplier ourselves? So for our venue it's not included, but they have a whole list of suppliers that they can recommend, and it's definitely worth asking that as well if they have a list of recommended suppliers. If you're getting married a lot earlier than 2023, it's worth asking about COVID restrictions or COVID procedures. Do you need to find suppliers yourself, or do they have a list of preferred suppliers? So my friend Avi also mentioned this because she was going to go for a dry hire venue in London, and that meant that they would have to find their own suppliers, but the venue would be charging for that, which is a bit confusing. If you need to find your own suppliers, is the venue actually going to charge you for that if you don't use the suppliers that they provide for you? Do you charge for external suppliers? Does the guest limit include children? Are there any specific restrictions or limitations? What is specifically included in the price of the venue for the day? So with our venue, we actually get access to the venue from 9 AM. They have a whole host of rooms that we can use for our wedding party, and we can stay overnight. And then they also include the furniture and the crockery, and then they also include breakfast the day after the wedding. Definitely worth asking because that might sway you as well. Now Shan again mentioned this in her video when she was talking about venues, because on Bridebook you can compare the venues that you have. That might include a venue that is more expensive but includes accommodation, whereas another venue that is cheaper but they don't include any accommodation. It might sway your choice in venues, because accommodation is definitely really important when it comes to you and your wedding party, because it sort of extends the day for you, I think, and it's nice, especially if you are traveling quite far away. It means that you have a place to stay, you don't have to leave and then drive home really late in the night. What's included in the meal? This might be important depending on whether your venue provides the catering or not. So is there going to be canapes? What is the list for the starters, the mains and the desserts? What is included in regards to drinks, that sort of thing. What they include for the evening guests. Will they help run the day? So obviously it's very difficult to sort of organize a wedding when you're getting ready as a bride, especially. It's going to be really difficult if you're trying to get ready and then making sure that everything else is sorted, especially if you're not able to actually have access to the venue the day before. And that again is another question that is worth asking. Can I have access to the venue the day before, or am I able to actually drop anything off out of hours? And then not, they will do, because obviously they wanted to run smoothly as well. So when can we get in to decorate? And obviously that's a really important question to ask, especially for your vendors, because you need to know whether they are able to come in the night before or to prepare for the whole day, or whether they need to come in at 9 AM the morning of the wedding to start decorating. Obviously it's a lot of work to prepare for a wedding day, so you need to sort of gauge how much time you're actually going to need to prepare. Any midweek offers. So a weekday typically is a lot cheaper than the weekend. So our venue was 2-3 grand more expensive than it would have been on a weekday, and that is exactly why we chose a weekday. And I have no regrets. I'm not really bothered about whether or not I get married on a Saturday. It really doesn't matter, especially because I'm going to be on holiday anyway. But it's definitely worth asking, and there's no shame in getting married on a weekday either. If people want to be at your wedding, they will be, and if it's far enough in advance, they will be able to take the time off. So do you have exclusive use of the venue? So especially if you're having a wedding in a hotel, you might not have exclusive use of the entire hotel, depending on how many rooms are available in the hotel, or how many floors are even available in the hotel. So it's definitely worth asking, because you don't know whether there might be some confusion if you're getting married in one area of the hotel and another wedding is happening on the opposite side of the hotel. So it's definitely worth asking, because most of the time you really want all of everybody's attention on you guys. You just want the day to run smoothly, so worth asking. What is the parking like? Where will the bridal party get ready, and where will the groom's party get ready? Have you got any accommodation recommendations for anywhere nearby? Is it wheelchair accessible? Do you help with cleanup after the wedding, or is that up to us the day after? Full kitchen available for the caterers. So depending on whether you are getting an external supplier for catering, it's worth asking if they have full access to the kitchen. Are tables and chairs provided, and do you help set this up for the day? Do you provide anything for decoration, or is there a fee? So this might be a good question to ask if you're getting married in some sort of house or a manor, for example, if they have any specific decoration or permanent decoration around the house that you might want to use, whether they rent that sort of thing out to you. Little things like, I don't know, disco ball or easel, for example, to where you can put your table plans on, or directions on what the order of service is like, or directions on where to go to sit down for the ceremony. Do you have any decor restrictions? Do you have staff that will help for the day, or is that up to catering? So that is my huge list of questions to ask for your venue. So you have a very clear idea of what you can and can't do, what you'll need to pay for. So because that is the most important thing when you are planning your wedding, you need to make sure how much you are spending, because things can add up very quickly, and that is something that I am learning very quickly as well. And I'm trying to actually rein myself in a little bit, because there are only a certain amount of things that I am happy to spend money on, and that is the venue, my dress, and the photographer, because I know that those photos are going to have to last forever. Everything else I'm happy to compromise on, but those things I just want to be perfect. And to be honest, even the dress, it doesn't have to be the most amazing thing in the world, but something that I feel amazing in. And hopefully it's not going to be something that is super expensive, and that is something that I actually want to talk to you about in a separate video when I start wedding dress shopping, and that's probably only going to be next year. But I have a couple of tips already that is definitely worth considering when you're looking for your wedding dress. We've actually reserved our venue. I'm not entirely sure if this accounts for all venues or not. What we need to do next in our wedding planning process is actually contact the registrar and the caterers to make sure that they are actually available on the day that we want to get married. So I've actually called the council to make sure that there is a registrar available to do the civil ceremony on the day that we want to get married. And then next week I'm going to contact caterers to see what the quotes are like for the amount of people that we want to have for the day of the wedding, and what sort of food that they have available that we would like, and if they have the date available for us as well. So that is the main thing. And then also obviously the photographer, but that is not overly important. It's just to make sure that the caterers and the registrar is available on the day that you want to get married, and that is what the venue has advised for us to do now. So they've reserved the day. We need to get all those bits sorted, and then we will pay a deposit on our venue. So I'm not entirely sure how other venues deal with this process. It's definitely worth asking that question as well, but that's, for us, that is what we all need to do. So I really hope that was helpful. I think the next video that I'll be doing in regards to weddings is probably something to do with bridesmaids. Yeah, I'm probably going to do something in regards to my bridesmaids. I've already decided who I'm going to have, but I really want to share with you the sort of thing that I was thinking of doing for them. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions regarding weddings or the proposal or just anything planning wise, don't hesitate to message me on Instagram or pop a comment down below, and I will get back to you. But I will see you in my next video. Bye!